Hello friends, welcome back. Today we are starting a new reading vlog. I'm going to see if I can fall back in love with a genre that used to be my absolute favorite. Can I find a book that makes me fall back in love with fantasy romance? Romantasy used to be one of my most read genres. That is what I always gravitated towards, but lately, I have not been having very much luck. I've been in a little bit of a fantasy rut, a romantasy dry spell, and I'm ready to jump back in and find my love for fantasy romance again. I have three very different subgenres of romantasy that I have chosen a book from each to see really where my tastes lie because I'm not sure I know anymore. I want to see how much my tastes have actually changed since my last love affair with this genre. I have a cozy romantasy in Violet Thistlethwaite is Not a Villain Anymore. I have a dark fantasy romance in Sea of Ruin. And then I have a kind of stereotypical, run-of-the-mill, hyped fantasy romance in Heartless Hunter. I really think each of these have so much potential, and I really think any one of these could be the one to make me fall back in love with this genre. And that is our mission for this video today, to find a romantasy that is going to pull me back into the throes of passion of the fantasy romance genre. I'm so excited. I have actually already started the first book of this vlog. I've started Sea of Ruin by Pam Goblin. I'm about 50% of the way through and I'm really liking it so far. It's Saturday morning, so let me get my iced coffee and let's talk about it. I am enjoying it so far, but it's like nothing spectacular. It's a bit of a head empty, solely vibes enjoyment, but hey, that's enjoyment nonetheless. We're following Bennett Sharp, a notorious female pirate captain. The first small section of this book was us actually getting to see how Bennett became the pirate captain that she is today. And she started out being 14. And I was so nervous at first. I was like, there is no way that this romance, like I get that it's marketed as a dark romance, but there is no way that this is going to be a romance about a 14-year-old. Because I knew there was no shot of me enjoying that. But luckily, that section was very small. It was just kind of like a precursor to how she became the pirate captain after we are introduced to her and her family and what befell them and how she ended up on the high seas. There is a 7-year time jump. So the majority of the story does take place when she is 21. Thankfully, 21-year-old Bennett is actually married to another very notorious pirate named Priest. She's been avoiding him, kind of on the run from him for the past 2 years, ever since she found out that he had slept with and fell in love with another woman. But he has finally caught back up with her and he wants her back. But our girl is not one to be pushed into anything that she does not want. And it's not that she doesn't want Priest, she does, but she is not going to let herself forgive him that easily for the utter betrayal that she felt. But when she is captured by a gorgeous British Navy captain to face trials for her piracy, she has to depend on Priest's loyalty to track her down and rescue her. But it's looking like the more time she spends with this brooding Navy captain, Lord Ashley Cutler, the less that she wants to be rescued. I'm loving our main character, Bennett. She is carefree. She is a little reckless, so brave, and this woman has been through so much. I am just not 100% sold on the romance yet. It's just not quite hitting. I mean, Priest had an affair, cheated on Bennett, which makes me instantly not like him. I have a feeling that there's more to the story than what we are privy to right now, but I just can't imagine there being an excuse for me to be like, oh, it's okay that you cheated on her. Like, this is fine. And I'm unfortunately not really feeling Ashley and Bennett's relationship either. It's very surface level and very lusty, purely surface level right now. Hopefully with some more time together, it will kind of deepen into a more emotional connection, which I have found out that I absolutely need in a romance. Like, it cannot be just pure physical. There has to be some emotional connection. But I am hopeful that once their walls start coming down, that I will ship it on a ship it a little bit more than I am right now. I am really liking the atmosphere though. Like, It is so well written. I can feel the wind in my hair. I can smell the sea. Being on these pirate ships are so cool. And I'm liking the characters as individuals. Like I said, the romance just isn't quite hitting for me yet, but I am hopeful. So I'm going to continue on. Again, I am enjoying it. I just wish that I was drawn in by the romance a little bit more. But we'll see where it goes. It is going to be a gorgeous day. It has been a little chilly here in Florida, but it is finally starting to warm back up. So I am absolutely going to take advantage. I'm going to go for my run this afternoon. Man, my workouts have been kicking my ass this week. I don't know if it's where I'm at in my cycle or if it's just, it has been a couple of weeks since I've been very habitual about it. I've been doing kind of just workouts here and there. I've been doing a lot of running. I have gotten under 30 minutes in my 5K the past like 4 runs. I am so proud of myself. But like I said, it has been a little chillier. So that is like the ample time for me to run, because when it gets like super hot, it just sucks the energy out of me. But I'm so proud. The last 4 runs have been like 29 minutes and 30 seconds. I am hoping to make that a little better before I sign up for a 5K, but being under 30 minutes was my goal and I've reached that. So I'm hoping that I can still continually hit that even as the weather gets a little warmer, but we will see. And my strength workouts, like I am so sore. I've done a strength workout like every day, not purely weights, but I've done a workout every day this week. Monday and Friday were like upper body, and then Tuesday and Thursday were my lower body, and then Wednesday was all core. And I am just feeling it. I am so excited to do some foam rolling later, but that is not going to stop me from enjoying this beautiful day and going for my run. So that is what I'm going to do. I am probably going to listen to more of Sea of Ruin while I'm out there during my warm up. We also found the cutest, like, I don't know if this is a chain or if it's something local, but it's called the Fresh Market. It's a grocery store and it has like, oh my gosh, there's so much organic stuff. And all of the meat, there's like an actual butcher there. All of the meat is so fresh and we have become obsessed. It's a little bit further than our regular grocery store. It takes about 15 minutes to get there, but yeah, it has drawn us in. So we also are going to go there this evening to pick up some groceries and get dinner. So it is going to be a great Saturday, a great weekend. I will check back in when I have a little bit of an update with Sea of Ruin. Hello friends, I am back and I have finished Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin. And I enjoyed it. It was decent. There was definitely more to Priest's Affair. So much more. I did not see that twist coming. I really liked where this story went and how it ended. It did get more emotional, but it still never gripped me and never really hit me in the feels, unfortunately. Bennett says repeatedly how hot she finds these 2 men, but then immediately reiterates oh, it's not just physical. It's so much more than that. It's emotional. And I feel like with that being so heavily stated every time, it fell into the, show me that it's emotional. Don't tell me. And I just feel like there were not enough instances of getting shown that the connection between these 2 men and her were emotional. And God, I thought when we spoke last that Bennett had been through a lot, but my goodness, this woman has been through it so much to the point where I feel like it was excessive and it didn't really fit with the rest of the tone of the story with the romance. I mean, yes, the romance was a little bit dark with some of the themes. I mean, there was spanking, there was some slight forcefulness to one of the scenes, but the literal torture, murder, and rape in this story felt so heavy-handed that it did not fit tonally with the rest of the story, in my opinion. And I sadistically love when characters struggle. Like, I love a tragic backstory. I love seeing my characters in difficult situations, but I don't know, maybe because I never really felt emotionally connected to Bennett, that her hardship never really like hit me like that good old tragedy usually does when my main character is like struggling for their life. I usually eat that shit up, but I don't know. It felt weird in this one. I did really like seeing these two men go absolutely feral to avenge this woman. You gotta love a man that takes the touch her and die trope very literally. Like I said, I felt like the ending was well done. I liked how everything was wrapped up between these three, and it was cute. Overall, I gave it a 3.5. I did enjoy it. It just like wasn't anything super special. I would recommend this if you like dark romance or pirates and don't necessarily mind surface level relationships or characters, and don't mind the absolute annihilation of a woman's body and soul and spirit. Otherwise, I'd say there's a lot better fantasy romances out there. Also, is this even fantasy romance? Like, there's no magic. The only fantasy aspect is that there are pirates, but like, pirates existed. So like, what's fantasy about it? I don't know. I want to call it historical romance because that's kind of what it is. Like, pirates historically were a thing. I mean, hell, pirates probably still are a thing, but when you hear historical romance, you think like Bridgerton. So I get the marketing of this being fantasy romance, but like, I didn't see the fantasy. Anyway, besides that, unfortunately, this was not a book that I have fallen in love with, and that is what we're looking for in this video. But I have very high hopes for the next one. I am going to be starting Heartless Hunter next, and God, I am so excited. I've been wanting to read this for so long. So we'll see if this one can be the one to hit me in the feels and make me fall back in love with this genre. Hello, friends. What an eventful couple of days I've had. It has been a few days since I have updated. Sydney was on his way to work the other day. He was riding the bike, and someone pulled out in front of him, didn't use their blinker, and he crashed into them, and he has broken his wrist, and the lady just drove off. Like, I could not believe the series of events that happened. Luckily, he's okay. I mean, he's in a cast, which he is hating, but it could have been a lot worse. So the cops are looking for her. Hopefully they find her, but my hopes are not high. We've been doing a little bit of like sleuthing. Where it happened was at a like housing complex. So we've been like driving through the housing complex trying to find the car, because Sydney remembers what it looks like, and we're looking for like a car that looks like that but also has a dent in it from where he freaking smashed into her car. We haven't had any luck, but it has been an emotional and tense couple of days. But on a brighter note, I am 40% through Heartless Hunter. I am on chapter 25. Side note, look how freaking good this bookmark looks. I'm so happy with it. It literally just looks like there's a sword sticking out of my book. I love it. And it's sturdier than I thought it would be. If you watch the vlog that I made these in, I was worried because it seemed a little flimsy, but it seems to be holding up great. But I am 40% into this, and guys, this could be the one. If the angle's a little different, I had to like finagle myself a little bit because I freaking hate these blind lines, and these stupid blinds are broken, so they won't stay up. It's a whole thing. Anyway, if the screen looks different, that's why. But I am 40% of the way through this, and oh my gosh, I'm freaking loving it. My only complaint right now is that we have gotten told like 5 different times in 5 different ways how much bigger Gideon is than Rune. Like, girl, we get it. He's a foot taller than you. You're a tiny little thing. That trope is just so annoying to me. Rune is a renegade witch on an island that has outlawed witchcraft. If witches are found, they are imprisoned and shortly after executed. Rune spends her nights as the Crimson Moth, helping other witches evade capture and sometimes going as far as to break them out of custody. She's currently trying to carry out her grandmother's dying wish for Rune to find her grandmother's best friend, a witch named Seraphine, but Seraphine is currently in the clutches of the Bloodguard. This is the city's military force with one goal. It is to eradicate witches and witch sympathizers. So our girl Rune has the bright idea to get information on Seraphine, where they're holding her, what the best strategy is to break her out. She is going to try to court the captain of the Bloodguard, Gideon, for information. Gideon has been ruthlessly hunting the Crimson Moth for the past 2 years, and when a new lead reveals that Rune could possibly somehow be involved, he decides that he is also going to pretend to court her in order to gain her trust and to try to get information from her. So these two are actively pretending to be interested in each other, while secretly they are both very much interested in each other, even though they do not want to be, because they are enemies. Like, they despise each other. I can already see the heartbreak coming, and I have a smile on my face. I told you, I'm a little sadistic. I can already see the heartbreak coming where one of them finds out that this was all pretend, even though it was pretend for them too. Like, the feelings have turned real, and I'm just so ready for that reveal. I am loving the tension and the pretending, honestly, and the yearning, even though like they do not want to have these real feelings. Like, they cannot help them from developing, but I cannot wait for more. I am honestly loving the history of this world. I'm loving the world building. I'm so intrigued to find out more about this revolution and the fall of the witches who used to be in power. The magic system is so fleshed out. There are so many little nuances to it. I mean, blood magic isn't necessarily like this groundbreaking revolutionary idea, but the way that Kristen Ciccarelli has written this magic system, it just feels so fresh and so new. I'm also loving Rune's friends and like little sidekicks in her mission to rescue these witches, one of which just happens to be Gideon's little brother, who may or may not, but absolutely does have feelings for Rune, like the absolute tea. There's also this mystery of blood guards showing up all over the city, being killed and drained of blood. And they think it's the Crimson Moth, but like, we know it's not the Crimson Moth, but who is killing all of these blood guard soldiers and draining them of their blood? Like, some witch out here is gathering blood for something, and I am so intrigued to find out more. We've also gotten these like little glimpses of a possible tragic backstory with Gideon, which I am very excited about. Your girl loves a tragic backstory, so I'm very excited to learn more about that as well. I am just freaking loving everything about this book. I do not want to stop reading it. I do not want to put it down. Like, every time I have to put this down, I am just counting down the minutes until I can pick it back up again. These characters are phenomenal. I'm so drawn in to not only the characters, but this world, this plot. It's so fast paced. The chapters are so nice and short, and I am just flying through it. Needless to say, I'm having a great time with it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna turn off this camera and immediately pick this back up because, like I said, it has drawn me in. I can't stop, and I don't want to, so I'm not going to. So I will check back in when I have an update, but I'm not gonna lie, this is so fast paced, and the way that I do not want to put this down, I may not check back in with you until this is done, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm gonna go read some more of this, and I'll check back later. Hello friends, I have finished Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli, and oh my gosh, wow, like, this is it. This was so good. There was so much to love about this. I loved that we got the dual perspective. I loved that we got to see the world and perspectives from both Rune and Gideon. I loved that we got inside of both of their heads to see really what they were feeling and thinking. I love a dual perspective romance so much. Both of these characters were just so phenomenal. I fell in love with them. Honestly, all of the characters were so damn good. They were so diverse and they felt so real. And these two, Gideon and Rune, were legit actual enemies. Like, I know a lot of enemies to lovers, it starts out like, oh, you're just bickering and then maybe a minor misunderstanding and then you're like lovers. But no, like, these two actively were like trying to capture and kill each other. Even like up until the end, these two at their cores were enemies. And I know that me saying that with a huge smile on my face might be a little confusing, but I love the yearning and like the bickering and the banter and the like butting heads of the two characters. Like, that just does something for me. Speaking of doing things for me, Gideon's tragic past hit so hard. He had this whole thing with one of the previous witch queens that it was a whole thing with her, and what she did to his family, gut-wrenching. It really made you sympathize and understand his perspective of being this witch hunter and his perspective of hating these witches and wanting to eradicate them. I mean, granted, he's taking his bad experience out on an entire race, which we do not like to see, but seeing what he has gone through really does make you sympathize and understand where he's coming from. The reveal and the twist of who was committing these murders was so good. Like, you did not see it coming. Again, the yearning, the tension, the banter between Rune and Gideon, like, their chemistry was absolute fire. The vulnerability that these two shared, even though it was under the guise of like trying to get the other person to lower their guard, they were like feigning vulnerability, but in doing so, like, they really did open up to each other, and it was just so heartwarming. It was precious. And this had so many like niche romantic scenes that I never knew I needed until Kristen Ciccarelli gave them to me. There was a scene with a piano. There was a scene where he was like measuring her for a dress. Oh my gosh, fire. The world and the magic was stunning. I loved the high society, like ballrooms, dresses, dances, mixed with these traditional fantastical elements with the witches. Granted, there wasn't super complex world building and really lore and background, and the atmosphere wasn't like out of this world, but it was enough. It was good. My only slight complaint with the second half of this book is that the ending and the conflict felt just a tad rushed, but it really did pack a punch, and it was so emotional. I'm gonna give this 4.5 stars. I really enjoy this. I am so impressed with this, and I cannot wait to pick up the conclusion. It is going to be a struggle to not immediately go pick it up off my shelves and start it immediately, but I have some other books that I need to read first, so it is going to have to wait, unfortunately. But man, did this one do it for me. I will say this never really gave me that like fluttering in my stomach feeling. It never had me like kicking my feet, which is another reason why it didn't quite get that 5-star, but this was so good. The chemistry, the writing was so well done, and I feel like once these two characters get over their differences, there is so much romantic potential because their chemistry is honestly phenomenal. But I actually am glad that it ended the way that it did and that the relationship is where it is right now, because there is still so much like yearning and tension to look forward to in this. Like, it did not, book 1 did not wrap up in a pretty little bow for these two. So I am so excited, and I am so happy to say that This, I'm not sure, it wasn't a 5-star, but it definitely did its part in making me fall back in love with this genre. Like, this hit so hard. I'm so happy. Hello friends, welcome back. I have a reading update for you. I know, shocker. I am about halfway through Violet Thistleway is Not a Villain Anymore by Emily Kremfoltz. The chapters aren't numbered, but I am on page 168, and I honestly was not sure what to expect going out of this. With this being a debut, I had low expectations, but optimistic high hopes, and I am pleasantly surprised at how much I am enjoying this. We are obviously following our girl Violet Thistleway. She used to be a villain. She used to be the right hand to this nefarious big bad guy Shadowfade. But when a hero comes to Shadowfade Castle and offers Violet, the nefarious Thorn Witch, the opportunity to turn over a new leaf, to leave the castle and her evil ways behind and to be good, you know, to try to be more than what she was raised to be. She doesn't believe that she deserves this second chance, but she gladly accepts it. So now she has to figure out who Violet Thistleway is, if not the Thorn Witch. And that is how Violet ends up in this cozy, quaint little town of Dragon's Rest. Violet has this flora magic. She is able to grow and summon plants at will, and instead of now summoning poison and thorns for pain and evil, she is now wanting to create happiness and goodness. So she decides that she is going to open up a florist shop. She found a small apartment for rent that comes with the use of half of a greenhouse where she plans to open her floral shop. And enter Nathaniel. Nathaniel is the grumpy, brooding, but obviously handsome alchemist running his family's apothecary out of the other half of the greenhouse. Nathaniel has this troubled past that we're not privy to yet, and he has this huge chip on his shoulder. He's trying to save his family's business. His parents have passed away, and the bank has ended their grace period, which leaves Nathaniel scrambling to try to figure out how to keep the doors open in his shop and to start paying the bank back. Hence why he and his twin sister Prudence are renting half of the greenhouse and half of their apartment to Violet. But Nathaniel and Violet's first meeting is kind of an absolute disaster, and they just instantly butt heads, even though they cannot help but notice how attractive the other one is. But sharing a greenhouse, they are spending a lot of time together, and the more time that they are spending together, the more their walls are starting to come down, the more they start to get to know each other. It is very slow, but we're getting there. These two have signs outside of their respective businesses on each side of their greenhouses, and the banter that they poke fun at each other through these signs, and it is just so adorable. It's so cute and funny. I have a couple examples. Aren't these signs just so cute? So her shop is called Rough Around the Hedges, and she says, no better medicine for a bad day than a beautiful bouquet. And Marcia's apothecary sign outside says, no better medicine than actual medicine. And then this one, he's poking fun at her name. It says, nothing rough about our products. And her sign says, plenty of stock on our shelves at least. And the way that they're just poking fun at each other through these signs is so cute. And they're passing these notes, they're leaving these notes for each other back and forth, which is just another added layer of cuteness and another way for them to kind of get their guard further down and to get to know each other a little bit more. I'm really enjoying both of these characters. Honestly, Nathaniel comes off as, obviously kind of a grump, but he's also coming off as a prude. But in reality, he is just a little anxious being that doesn't really know how to interact with new people. And Violet is just such a sweetheart. She has spent her entire life under the tutelage of this terrible person, and bad evil habits are all she's ever known. But she is making such an effort to try to learn how to use her powers for something other than harm. And it is just so cute to see her make the decision every single day to try to be a better person, even though those terrible habits and that evil is still lurking very much in the back of her mind, and she has to constantly fight those urges. She's also understandably terrified of this sweet town finding out who she was, because this town just happens to be like right down the road from Shadowfade Castle. Like they can see it on the hill where she grew up. So they are very familiar with Shadowfade, and this town has gotten a lot of Shadowfade's wrath over the years being so close. So if they find out who she was, like she fears that they are going to like kick her out and not accept her anymore. And now this new guy just showed up who happens to know Violet's secret past identity, and coincidentally, around the same time this blight started affecting the plant life in this town, there are these like mysterious patches of rot that are popping up all over town. I mean, it's only seeming to affect plant life, but considering plants are Violet and Nathaniel's livelihood, they decide that they are going to work together to try to solve the mystery of what is causing this blight and how to stop it. And of course, as they are working together, they are getting closer, and they are just so cute. And it's honestly really cute how the town is like converging together, and they're all working together and trying to do their part to kind of stop the spread of this blight and to try to figure out what's going on with it. I really like the community aspect of this. It's so cozy, it's so quaint, it's so cute. I am enjoying it so much. All of the characters are so fun. I mean, they're not all like super fleshed out, but they are all like so quirky and such a fun time, especially the non-human characters. Like there is a plant that Violet, I think if I'm understanding correctly, it was a person that she didn't like, and she turned them into a plant. So now she just carries around this pothos plant, and he is like always trying to kill her. There are also these little rock goblins that are just so stinking adorable. I'm loving Nathaniel and Violet's banter. We haven't gotten any like romance yet. There is definitely that tension, but we haven't, like, we're halfway and we have not got the first kiss yet. I feel it coming though, so I am very excited. It's just so cute. I'm loving my time with this. Hello friends. I have finished Violet Thistlewaite Is Not a Villain Anymore, and this was stinking adorable, honestly. There is something about a good, cozy fantasy romance that just does it for me. I mean, was the magic and the world super immersive or complex? No. Was every single mystery super predictable? Yeah, but did I have a great time with this? Hell yeah, I did. The cozy small town vibes were absolutely immaculate. All of the characters, although not, super fleshed out and deep, were so much fun. I continued to adore the little sentient, sometimes homicidal houseplant and her little rock goblin pet. It was low stakes as far as fantasy goes, but the stakes were really high for these characters. Violet was such a complex character. I loved that she was constantly at war with herself, fighting against her natural instincts to lash out, to cause pain, to defend, to attack, to look for weaknesses and protect herself. But instead, she chose every single day to be better than she was yesterday and to genuinely try to be a good person. I also really enjoyed Violet's turmoil over her feelings towards her previous, big bad boss Shadowfade, because this man took her in as a child and raised her. Granted, raised her and molded her to be a weapon, but I mean, that is the only father that Violet has ever known. And I really liked how Violet's memories showed that, he wasn't all bad. He really did care for her and love her in his twisted way. And the constant battle of hating him versus missing him, I thought was just so interesting. It just felt so real. Like, I love exploring that gray area because nothing and no one is ever like purely good or purely bad. And I just thought it was so interesting seeing how much Violet struggled with like feeling guilty for missing her, father figure, even though he was a terrible person. And I just thought that like put a whole new light on this stereotypical bad guy, and I thought it was done really well. Speaking of evil, I do feel like there could have been more space allotted for Violet's emotional turmoil over what she has done in her past. I mean, this woman has supposedly killed thousands of people. And granted, we do see her struggle through having nightmares every night, but it just didn't feel like that was enough to really show all of what she had done. I feel like there should have been more clues in her behaviors and waking moments and thoughts, but I guess that would have kind of brought down the tone of the book, which is very lighthearted. I don't know though, I felt like Nathaniel's turmoil was handled a lot better, made more sense because of what happened with his parents. You can so very clearly see how that affects his everyday actions and thoughts. And I just didn't feel that with Violet. I honestly could have gotten more emotional turmoil from Nathaniel as well, because that was such a huge, like, traumatic thing that happened with him and his family. But, you know me. I like to see my character suffer. And although the romance was super cute, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was really cute, but the emotional connection wasn't always there for me. Even with having a touch of the like enemies to lovers, it felt like their first romantic interaction happened really quickly and kind of out of nowhere. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really did enjoy this romance, but I mean, it wasn't perfect. Overall, what a whimsical, wholesome, adorable, funny, cute, heartfelt, beautiful book. I'm going to give this 4 stars. I really haven't seen anybody talk about this book. Maybe I'm just not seeing it, but if you like cozy fantasy with a touch of romance, like, don't sleep on this. This was so good. What a successful venture we went on. I think my mission has been accomplished. Heartless Hunter was definitely like the winner of the video. This book was such a great reminder of everything I love about the fantasy romance genre, but Violet Thistlethwaite was also such a win. What I'm learning about my tastes is maybe I just don't like dark romance as much as I like the idea of dark romance. Or maybe there's just so much of it in the market right now that there's just so much more that I have to dig through to find one that I actually enjoy. Or maybe my taste in dark romance isn't as honed as it is with some of the other like subgenres in fantasy romance, but this has absolutely reignited my passion for this genre, and I could not be happier. I am going to immediately pick up the sequel for Heartless Hunter because I cannot get this world, this story, these characters out of my head, and I need to find out how this is going to end. And honestly, like, that's what I'm here looking for. I am looking for books that are going to consume my every thought, that is going to take over my life. And I'm just so ecstatic that I found one of those worlds in this video. Let me know if you have any recommendations on any fantasy romances that you have enjoyed, that you think I might enjoy as well. I'm always looking for recommendations. And please let me know if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts on them were. Or if you don't have much to say and just want to let me know you were here, leave me the bouquet emoji down in the comments for our sweet girl Violet. While you're down there, don't forget to like the video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to see more from me in the future. I hope you are loving what you are reading lately. Stay safe out there, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye, friends.
Tell you something, there ain't another love that is gonna hold you down like mine.